Hey fellas,
Hi, how are y'all?
back for another video to keep you guys woke. Anyway,
Woke.
yeah, woke extreme.
Woke.
So basically, Nos found this shit again. Um, it is a tweet from Wake Alert. I'm not exactly sure who, is the source of this video. I guess it's this guy right here. The Kurdistan Army.
Yo, that nigga woke.
But anyway, this guy's name is Nardi Puji, at Wake Alert.
He's in the middle of whatever country.
Yeah, he's got to be somewhere around there. So this was posted on April 21st. So today is obviously April 21st, 2017 at 6:25 p.m. Anyhow, this is a video from, I suppose, this Peshmerga guy. Basically a video of U.S. troops alongside of ISIS forces. I guess they're going in to fuck up Syria. So basically this has been something that me and Nos have talked about like a million times actually.
Yeah.
How people are kind of ignorant to the fact that the United States and ISIS are basically one and the same, and that the United States created ISIS.
We can't talk about that though, you
Yeah,
know?
we can't talk about that. But yeah, basically, this video shows, without a doubt, that they are working with each other.
There was other videos that saying, "Oh yeah, of Obama. Oh yeah, we're training ISIL forces."
Yeah, but the problem with that video, actually, let's dispel that rumor really quickly because,
I know it could have been faked.
Oh no, it wasn't faked. It was just taken out of context. So pretty much, the video basically, in a sense, said that, but not truly.
It was half.
It was, yeah, it was something.
All set.
Our
gratitude.
Yeah.
Partners. Our comprehensive strategy.
I still think there's a bunch of truth there though.
Yeah.
Secretary
I mean,
Carter.
they wouldn't just be like,
Them
"Oh,
out.
you know."
Ramadi in Iraq. Camps.
They never admit it
We've eliminated
publicly
thousands of
'cause
fighters,
that would be
including
damage
senior
on
ISIL
them.
commanders. And over the past year, we've
Shut
seen
up,
that
phone.
when we have an effective partner on the ground, ISIL
Right.
can be pushed back. In Iraq,
But you know
ISIL
what I
lost
mean, right?
at the Mosul Dam.
So
Or-
basically, when he says, you know, we're training ISIL forces, he didn't mean the forces of ISIL. It was just the forces that were assigned to, like, the missions against ISIS. So that was a rumor that, like, that he said that shit, but it wasn't meant to be the way that it was interpreted. The way that people, you know, made it seem.
Really?
Yeah, but pretty much, like, they do, in fact, you know, fight with ISIL forces. Like, or not ISIL forces, but they fight with ISIS on, like, a daily basis. I mean, there's been a couple of times where, Syria
They've
would
admitted.
well, not only that, but Syria would be attacked, and then strategically ISIS would be watching. Somehow they would be knowing that these attacks were going on against Syria, and then ISIS would show up immediately after. Let's say the United States shoots some Syrian government officials or something. This is just a or military officials, whatever you want this to be. It can be an example. The United States would do something, and then ISIS would come in immediately after and fuck up Syria as well. So it's been an ongoing thing with them. And also, the time that Putin went to the G20 meetings, let me go ahead and find that article as well.
Oh, where he was like, "Oh yeah, they're there with them basically."
Yeah.
It's horrifying that they lie to us on this huge scale.
So, yeah, Putin, ISIS financed from 40 countries, including G20 members. So, Putin said that he had, like, a document, like, that he would basically... It was during the time that the United States was fucking with Russia in 2015. and that, like, he felt like the United States was being, you know, fucked up. He basically came out, like, pretty much soon after and was like, yeah, ISIS is financed by 40 countries, including some members in this room, and if you guys want to keep fucking around with me, I'll release who...
I wish he would have, because he should now.
Yeah, so...
He really should right now, at this moment in time.
Yeah, I know, right? But basically, I'm gonna play this video for you guys to see.
And I think that they discredit him over that, too, because he's just trying to defend Syria.
Yeah.
No.
But that's not what's happening.
I mean, honestly, we're just there to destabilize Syria, so...
Yeah.
Although, we can't say Putin's any better, because he's taken Crimea and Ukraine. We're not Putin apologists. Not even Trump apologists, we hate that fucker. What were you gonna say? Brandon?
Huh? What happened?
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was playing the video right now.
Oh, I don't see it.
Yeah, no, I'm playing it on this.
الامريكان تنخلع من قلبة الراعي. الله اكبر. الله اكبر.
Yeah, so basically by that video, the guy who's recording it is basically saying we don't accept the Americans who are fighting on our side. So basically,
Because they're not.
Yeah, well, no, he means that he doesn't even accept them when they're fighting with them.
Right.
But he's admitting to the fact that they're fighting with the Americans right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, basically, it's fucked up that people act as if that this does not happen. I'm sure somebody will take this video and act like it's fake, or that it won't get any sort of coverage whatsoever, but...
Hillary was involved in it. Why does McCain go to Syria all the time?
Yeah.
That's something that you should all question.
And there's a lot of weird shit that goes down with that. There's a lot of folks who are working basically alongside ISIS, like right now, that are prominent. Like you said, McCain shows up to Syria all the time. He's not going to meet fucking Assad. You know what I'm saying?
He's literally meeting with refugees in Syria.
Yeah. He's dicking around with some ISIS fellows. I mean, these guys are basically controlled by a lot of people, and
Government.
Yeah, they're also like pawns in a proxy war, pretty much. I mean, me and Nas talk about proxy wars all the time. We use the Turkish to dick around with Syria and Russia.
Yeah.
That one Russian jet that was shot out of the air by the Turkish, and then Russia shot down a public plane, like a plane that was
Malaysian Airlines.
Yeah,
plane.
Malaysian Airlines plane. That had Turkish people on board, which was fucked up. But I mean, in a technicality, the Turkish shot Russia down over a no-fly zone, like within their area. So not in the Turkish area, but within like the Syrian area. So they basically like broke international law by shooting down that jet, and then Russia did the same shit. And it's just interesting that people act as if that this is impossible, number one, and number two, that it's not happening right in front of your face.
Been going on since the 80s.
Well, yeah, of course, with Al-Qaeda and with, all that shit. I mean, we created Al-Qaeda.
Exactly.
With the CIA, so it's not impossible for these guys to be created by the CIA, and more than likely they are. I haven't seen any evidence to that, but
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. So there's probably some out there somewhere in the ether of everything. But it's just it throws me for a loop every time I talk to somebody about ISIS, and then they act like that's a regular terrorist regime.
It's definitely created by us.
Yeah, and also the fact that like ISIS has taken over like oil fields, and they were
Sold the oil.
Oh yeah, sold the oil. They're like they make like $50 million like pretty often. Like I remember when they took over that crude field, they were like, the United States supposedly were bombing them while that was happening, and then they just got away scot-free. You know, they never talked about that ever again, but they stole like $50 million a day worth of crude oil.
I know.
Like, that does not happen. That does not happen. We are... And it's the same thing with the Steven guy. You know, it just does not happen that these people run away and they're able to do this shit when we have multi-billion-dollar organizations going supposedly after these people, and then they always just get away. They get away, they get away, they get away. It's the same thing with, what's his face? What's that guy's name? Oh my god, I'm forgetting. The terrorist that they blamed 9/11 on.
I don't even remember who they blamed 9/11 on.
They shot him dead not too long ago when Obama was in the office. Supposedly. Oh my god. Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden got away for over like 10 fucking years.
Oh yeah.
Supposedly in hiding.
Forgot about him.
But these were also guys that supposedly orchestrated these attacks from like caves. And these are the same type of guys all over again, working in caves, HD cameras, having editors that edit all these nicely cut, you know, fucking murders onto film, and then we're watching them in the United States acting as if that's like normal. Yeah, and it's just strange that we have this type of paradigm within the United States where you know, people act like fucking dinguses about pretty much everything they see, and they don't question anything.
They're retarded.
Well, not only are we fucking retarded just by letting them supposedly do all this shit and get away with it, it just, I don't know, man. It just seems so fucking strange to me that I don't think people are this stupid. I think people just don't want to accept the fact that this is going on and that this is a thing that happens every fucking day and has happened multiple times in history, with, you know, our political agendas within the United States.
Yeah, I know. It's fucked. People don't see it.
Well, I don't think they don't see it. I just think that they don't want to accept that is a reality because they're afraid. Like, they're afraid of thinking that, you know, not everything is what they see. Like, not everything is what it seems.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to take your perception of reality of a government that you trust and then automatically mistrust it. Because, I mean, I remember when people used to say to me, like, 9/11 was an inside job, I would be like, you're fucking retarded. And
now
then,
you're like, oh yeah, shit, it is.
Oh yeah, and not only was that an inside job, but there's so many others that it's ridiculous. The Tanzania, the Gulf of Tonkin. Let me think of a couple other ones. The Paris bombing. The bombing in Paris that put them into martial law. The 1990s Olympics that were in, I believe it was Atlanta. That was fake as fuck. I mean, that video is super fake, actually.
Super fake.
Super fake. I mean, the cops weren't doing anything. It was just these, like, you know, crisis-looking actors just going over and being like, are you okay? You okay? And then there's just, like, blood everywhere, but there's not blood on certain individuals who should have blood on them and such and sorts. You got... all four of those are prime examples. If you want to look into them for yourself and make an assessment, then obviously you should do that. But
we beg you.
Yeah, we beg you to do it. But it's just, you know, we're in this paradigm right now where people want to act as if, you know, it's impossible for this kind of thing to occur within our political climate. And also, there are people that I know personally. I know this fucking guy. He's a good guy. He's a smart fucking guy, right?
You know a guy.
He's a nice person. I don't want to sit here and act like he's ignorant, because I mean, he obviously isn't. He voted for Hillary, but you know, that's something that is different in itself. That's just a little jab, but I mean, this guy, he acts as if that when I brought up the Steven Stevens stuff, he shared an article from Cafe.com that was basically saying that anybody who thinks that Steven Stevens was a false flag are stupid, that they're ignorant, that they don't know what they're talking about, that they're political morons, right? And this guy shared this shit, and of course I responded immediately, and I was like, the Gulf of Tonkin fucking happened. If the Gulf of Tonkin can happen, anything can happen. And you're also talking about multi-billion-dollar organizations that could not find this guy. For 2 days, he only traveled 100 fucking miles.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, and GPS tracking, data acquisition, there's
Nothing.
no way that this guy could get away for that long. If you commit a crime like that, I'm not trying to sit here and say that you should guinea pig yourself, but if you were to commit a crime like that, you would immediately be caught. I mean, fuck. I mean, they catch people with little information whatsoever, like legitimate murder cases, like the First 48. They use like webcam footage of like the shittiest quality, and they still fucking find these people, and they put them behind bars, and they go to jail for life sometimes.
All the time.
Yeah, like there's a good percentage of the First 48 where they get these guys pretty often, and I mean, those are real like cases that you can look into. I mean, they were just in Mobile like not too long ago, where I live.
They're in Cleveland all the time.
Yeah, they're in Cleveland pretty often.
Every fucking episode.
Yeah. But you know, they find people with less information than how much this guy left behind. Not only did he have a throwaway phone, he had another device that he was streaming with. That phone that he was streaming with, easily, if you request from Facebook in a federal investigation, hey, I need to know where this guy was at that time, they give you that information. And I guess they didn't do that. And you either have to assume, number one, the FBI is complete shit, or number two, that they just didn't want to find him, and this is another situation where they just didn't want to find him, and people acted as if that's not suspicious, and that's not like a technically a false flag. Because false flag can mean anything. False flag can mean that just because you're saying false flag, that doesn't mean that you're saying, okay, he's from another country, he's trying to stir up some shit to cause some sort of terrorist war. That's not the case. What we're talking about with
Never
the false
is
flag,
it?
yeah, well, I mean, except for Paris, like, that was the last one that I've really seen where it was like a 9/11 scale attack, and they acted like, you know, ooh, we found their passports on the side of the fucking street, like how they did with 9/11.
Remember those memes?
Yeah, like this fucking passport is the most fireproof passport of all time and shit like that. I remember those memes. Yeah, they found his fucking passport just laying on the ground, side of the street. Like, you know, whatever. Yeah, good thing we found it. I mean, if he blew himself up, like they proclaim that these guys did in Paris, nothing survives. Like, you're done. You explode. There would be chunks of shit everywhere, including your body. Like, not a full, undamaged passport. Like, looking like somebody dropped it on the side of the fucking street.
Oh, but you can't melt steel beams with passport.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, fucked up the joke.
I know, that was the point.
No, to get back to the point, this guy shared this shit, and I was like, okay, listen, the Gulf of Tonkin happened. You have multiple other situations, and then I basically explained what I explained to you just now, that it's almost nearly impossible for them not to catch you with the amount of shit that he had on him and the amount of shit that he was doing in the
amount of technology.
Yeah, the amount of technology that we have. Multi-billion-dollar organizations. And he basically didn't respond to me. But later on, somebody else commented and said, you know, I'm not trying to sit here and say that this was a false flag, but to act like there's no way that a false flag can happen is ridiculous. And I basically was agreeing with that guy, even though he said, I don't think this is a false flag. I was like, well, you know, it may not have been, but there's a very strong possibility that it was, considering how much the media played on that story. It's not always the media controlling a narrative, but I mean, for sure, the FBI was not trying to find him.
Exactly.
The Cleveland police were not trying to find him. They went into Erie, Pennsylvania. I know people who live in Pennsylvania, and they say the same shit that I do about Pennsylvania. That state is completely corrupt, and they caught him immediately. I mean, they were there immediately. The interview that the woman who, you know, noticed that it was him and told him to wait for the fries at the McDonald's, she called the police, and they were supposedly there, like...
Within the minute.
Within the minute. So they knew where he was. They were tracking him. They did a good job. They listened to the tips that they were given. You know, they did their job as a police department. The Erie Police Department needs a lot of fucking props for what they did. Because they tried to keep him alive. They tried to catch him, and he killed himself. After a 2-mile pursuit with the police. So he knew what was going to happen. They tried their best, though. I don't think they were a part of that shit, but the Cleveland Police Department and the FBI were a part of it. And in a technicality, that would technically be a false flag.
Yeah.
But they acted as if there's no way, and this guy responded and said, there's no way within the 21st century that you could commit a false flag that has any sort of validity to it. And I'm just like, what? That doesn't make any fucking sense, because look at the shit that's happened within the United States that they've blamed on ISIS before.
What?
Like the Marines who got taken out by one fucking guy. The 3 Marines in, I believe it was Nashville, something like that. There was a Marine.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
There were 3 Marines that were murdered by one fucking guy, and these technically Marines are trained killers. They're the toughest men alive. And they got fucking ousted by one guy. You know, it just... And then they blamed it on ISIS immediately. Anytime the media has seen a bombing, the Boston bombing, they tried to blame it on ISIS.
Even though it wasn't.
Even though it wasn't. He fucking hid in a boat. They caught him so fucking quick that it was hilarious. Dude, yes, they did.
3 days.
Considering the amount of time, and
they locked the whole city on martial law.
Well, yeah, of course, but considering the amount of information that they didn't know versus the Steven Stevens guy was very minuscule. Like, I think that guy just kind of got away with it for a little while. But this Steven Stevens guy did not. Like, there was no way. It was impossible. He was bringing up people's names, you know, people who can sit there and cross-check to see, you know, ask Joy Lane, hey, who's this guy? And she says, that's my husband. You know, whatever the fuck. But that guy was not involved with anybody except for the other person that, you know, committed the bombings with him. But he was definitely a false flag. But then again, he lived, so I don't know, dude. My point is, these people that run these fucking agencies are not stupid.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. And in this case, they know what they're doing too, because they know people are not gonna fucking bring up the fact that that is fucking shady for ISIS to be working alongside, or the United States to be working alongside ISIS.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
What do you think about it? Like, other than just me talking about stupid shit and rambling.
I mean, I think as I've said in the past, I think that they are definitely up to something. It's all for the money. That's the only reason that this even happens.
Yeah.
What else would it be about? It's not for anything else other than the money. If money wasn't there, they wouldn't be doing it. If there was money in... Yeah, if there was money in creating a good population, it wouldn't have happened.
I don't know, man. Okay, so you're saying they're just in it for the money, like that's it for ISIS?
Oh, yeah.
Just the money.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's creating another fucking organization to be mad about, to try to justify another war, which of course would mean money, but
That's what they want.
But that also justifies going into Syria, taking them out. That would take out Russia's, one of their biggest allies. You know, taking out one of their biggest allies, the ones that they've been trying to...
Well, they're doing it to destabilize Syria, too. Yeah. I'm not denying that.
Destabilize the entire Middle East. I mean,
Yeah.
to make these poor fucking people... And I mean,
Tougher.
like, there's definitely some states within the Middle East that are fucked up beyond belief. Saudi Arabia, fucked up beyond belief. But we're friends with them because they give us oil at decent prices. But... You know,
Well, among other reasons.
well, yeah, of course, but they're fucked up, right? They're probably the most fucked up in the Middle East. But here's the thing: if you destabilize the Middle East, then you can take on oil fields the size of molasses, and you can also get rid of an entire
The size of molasses.
yeah, the size of molasses, make more money than the Hope Diamond would be worth. And then, you know, basically...
You don't have to touch your own oil.
Well, yeah, of course, you don't have to touch your own oil. And also, you can completely get rid of a population that is growing and numbered. Like, growing every fucking year. Like,
Do you think it's for
huge
population
amounts.
control?
Oh, yeah, dude, for sure. Because, I mean, the way that they bombed Yemen in 2012 under Obama in 2013 and 2014, dude, it was so fucked up. That's the... worst shit that I've ever watched. Like, those videos and those pictures, the worst shit I've ever seen. I mean, that place is small, man. And they've got so many people in there.
Right.
You know, the bombings in Libya. Anyway, the bombings in Libya, you know, the ones that I just talked about. Those were horrendous, and they know they're not going to catch those people in those bombs. They know it. Either they wanted to control the population by bombing those places, or they're just fucking stupid. And they don't know how to surgically drone strike, which is what they called it. Surgical drone strikes. You know,
I love doing that.
Oh, yeah, of course. And also the fact that we ended up finding that out, too. That Obama's, like, administration bombed more places than any other president combined by a lot, too. Like, a bunch of them weren't even documented. Like, 20,000 airstrikes, undocumented. You know, and...
Not more.
Yeah, and probably even more than that. But the thing that you have to understand after a while is, like, if they're undocumented... like
Murders,
like mass murders too, not just murders, mass murders, 50, 60 people a pop, 20,000 times, that's limiting a population. That is taking out a population. And the way that they try to disguise all this is by having people like ISIS saying, oh yeah, fuck the infidels. You understand that this fucking religion is just like Christianity, where they say, okay, kill gay people. Obviously, Christians are not going to kill gay people. That's in the Bible. It tells you to kill gay people. Find a man and a woman, or a man and a man acting as if a man and a woman in bed. You should stone them, basically.
Yeah, that's not right at all. Like, it's just religion. Religion. If you got rid of religion, the world would be different.
Oh yeah, it would. It would probably be a more logical place, but I think we would still be having these same issues because guys within the government are atheists as fuck. They don't give a fuck about life. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a secular individual or you're not. It doesn't fucking matter. But the point that I'm bringing up is they try to make all of these people, and I mean all of these people within the Middle East, look like boogeymen. And they're not boogeymen. They're not boogeymen, they're not boogie women, they're not boogie children. These are normal, everyday people. They just live in a completely different side of the planet than
We shouldn't judge them about it.
Yeah, and we shouldn't judge their culture. Because the second that you judge their culture based off of this created regime for you to think that these are just all barbarians, then, you know, we're gonna be not as bad as ISIS, but we're gonna be as bad as the people running this fucking country. That's why I hate seeing, you know, the Middle East should be completely destroyed, because that's fucking bullshit.
I agree.
Such bullshit. Not everybody within the Middle East is a fucking barbarian. And these fucking barbarians were created by barbarians that live here.
Yep.
I mean, shit, the guys that were trained for supposedly the 9/11 terrorist attacks were trained underneath George Bush Sr. The Elder Bush, or whatever the fuck you want to call him.
The New World Order Bush.
Yeah. You know, it's so strange that we can see history play out over and over and over again, and nobody ever, like, catches on. Like, the mass populace of the United States, if we rose up against this shit, it would be over. This would not be happening to people anymore. And people would immediately still think, oh yeah, you know, ISIS wouldn't go away. No, because they were trained to do this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And just because you get rid of, you know, the people within government that are doing this shit, that doesn't mean that ISIS is necessarily going to go away. But here's the problem. Here's the solution. It's going to be the same thing over in these Western countries, where they're basically hoping on hope that we do something, like the people do something, that we stand up against this bullshit, because, you know,
which we won't.
Yeah, we won't do it, but they're hoping that we do it so that they can do it too, because the second that we do it to our folk over here, it becomes much easier over there to overthrow these fucking dickheads, to restabilize the entire world, essentially. Because, I mean, this is the focal point of today's political climate. It has been since 1980.
It's to always have a boogeyman.
Yeah, always to have a boogeyman.
It's North Korea today.
Yeah.
Who knows who it'll be tomorrow? Always been Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's not, I mean, I don't really have a problem with the Russians, but I know earlier I said we're not Putin sympathizers, but my government's just there to make me like, oh, you should hate them fuckers. You should hate all the Muslims. Trump's trying to push that fucking shit. Oh, you should hate all the Mexicans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they really taking your jobs, or are you really not skilled enough to do the job in the first place?
Exactly.
Like, be fucking honest with yourself.
Well, there is certain times where they will hire, like, illegal people because you don't have to pay them a legal amount. Like,
well, those jobs are so low skilled.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
I'm talking like skilled positions. I'm not meaning, I know that some technical jobs are outsourced to wherever the fuck.
Yeah.
But Trump completely went off his word.
Yeah.
That just pissed me off too. But he was about to get rid of NAFTA, but that's for another video.
Yeah, that's another topic for another day.
There's so many topics with this government.
Yeah.
I don't like their foreign policy, but when your economy is built just on war, what other options do you have when it's tanking?
Yeah, pretty much.
Arms sales.
Yeah. I remember talking to my dad one time about the you know how they, like, purchased enough bullets to kill everybody within the United States? He legitimately thought that...
It's crazy, right?
No, he legitimately thought that they did that so other people could not buy them first.
No.
That's what he legitimately believes, and there's no way to change anything that he thinks.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there's a difference between our generation and his.
Yeah, well, of course, he trusts them. He lived under the Reagan regime, where, like, bomb everybody, kill everybody off as much as you can, start wars everywhere, and that'll bring down the price of the debt. Because, you know, we're making all these people pay for shit that we destroyed. You know, we're making them pay us to fix their shit. To fix their buildings, their their landscapes, their whatever. They pay our soldiers to come in and restabilize the region from radical whatever the fuck, and that's what
you
they're
should
doing.
Put that
with
in
Islam.
quotations.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that's what they're doing with radical Islam, quote unquote. They're trying to make you hate Muslims so we can justify a war and we can go over there and kill off an entire population of fucking well-abiding people.
You know what? The whole war is for money.
Yeah, I know. I hate fucking seeing that shit.
I do too, and you know what? That's why I'll probably never join the military.
Yeah.
Ever.
I won't join any organization that has anything to do with demeaning an entire population of people based off of a few, because you can do that here too.
Yeah. Like, I mean, at least we have proof, right?
Yeah. Now we have proof that the
and Israel too. Don't even fucking forget about Israel.
Oh yeah, of
course.
That's
another.
Explain Israel for people who may be living under a rock.
we live and die for Israel.
Yeah.
We basically we're Israel's protectorate. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I would say so.
We protect Israel till the end of time. Israel is we are Israel's bitch somehow. I don't know how this happened. I wasn't there.
The Holy Land.
Yeah.
Gotta protect where Jesus walked.
The Jews, man, the Jews. That's another thing, the Jewish connection between the government.
I've never even looked into that, cause
that's the kind of shit that'll get you killed.
I don't know, man. I don't think every person within the government that's running it is Jewish. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, they're from Bohemian Grove at Yale University. Trump. Where'd Trump go to school? No, he didn't go there.
He went somewhere else. I tried to look up an affiliation between those two to see if he was involved with that, but he never was.
Trump University.
I think that guy probably gets fucking tortured.
Who, Trump?
Yeah, I think he gets tortured into submission.
Probably. I mean, why would he turn on NAFTA so quick?
Dude, and it was so fast.
Like within an hour.
It was so fast. It was like 25 minutes.
Like, honestly, maybe becoming president ruined his life.
It could have, man. He could. Man, that's what I was saying to people when it first went down. I was like, man, this guy is probably going to be really good.
I mean, he wasn't a bad guy before. But...
I mean, people tried to discredit him with his businesses and such and sorts, saying that he had 4 bankruptcies. But you have to realize this guy
had a ton of...
Oh, dude, like over a couple thousand businesses like that have done extremely well, and then they bring up these 4, and then they're like, you know, that one interview with that guy who he wanted him to make I think it could have been a golf course actually, or I don't know what it was.
There's so many golf courses.
Yeah, but he basically hired somebody to create like a building. Like he hired a man to build a building.
You know, building is what he did.
Well, yeah, of course.
For real estate was his venture.
Yeah, but he supposedly didn't pay this guy for the building, and people have to understand that that's a business fucking thing. That's something that ruthless gangster businessmen do. Like,
there's a lot of things I've heard too. He was terrible to business people and such.
Well,
but
yeah, of course. He's a fucking multi-million-dollar businessman. $200 million a fucking year. You know, like this guy makes a lot of fucking money. He made so much money off of like Mike Tyson and boxing, and if you've looked into boxing, it's super corrupt. Like, dude, he's in that ballpark of people. He's like in that shady businessman area. Like, but to discredit everything that he's done business-wise is ridiculous, because it just the small loan of $1 million, that guy turned $1 million into $100 million. That's really rare. Like, if you look at how many people have, like, hundreds of millions of dollars, it's not that many people, man. It's not. There's not that many people. No average Joe just comes along hundreds of millions of dollars unless they win a lottery. And then you pay half of that off anyway. So, I don't know, man. But this video basically proves that the United States is working with ISIS probably on a daily basis. This is probably not the first time. It's just the first video that we've seen of it. There could have been videos in the past as well, but we haven't seen them until now. I mean, this is pretty groundbreaking material, I guess.
Yeah. There might have been more, we just never noticed.
Yeah, or we never saw them. Either way, it brings you back to reality that these are not just guys that are just 100% radical and they have, you know, no affiliation to us whatsoever. You know, these guys are a part of our shit, part of our everyday lives. You know? We will make more videos about this if there's more videos that come out or more information. Just keep yourselves watching out for more videos like these. If you find one, you can tweet it to me. I'll put my Twitter in the description or something. Let us know what you find. But anyway, if you like the video, like it, share it, do what you want to do, man. It'll be cool. Anyway, we'll talk to y'all later.